We're here today with the kids who are participating in art camp from the Fairfield Art Association, and that's just an extra one. And I myself am not an overly crafty person, but I do know some of the early American crafts, candle making, basket making, and such. And today these young people are going to participate in 3 activities: candle making, Cherokee leaf prints, which is a Native American activity, and hopefully if we have time we'll do some straw weaving at the end of our 2 hours today. What we're using is paraffin wax, the same stuff you use for canning. It's great for candles. Early pioneers would have used animal fat, but the kids for some reason didn't want to use animal fat. I don't understand it, but so we're using paraffin. We got it colored real nicely with some lovely crayons, and we're doing a basic dip candle. And if everything works out well, they'll have a really beautiful tapered candle. Oh, hold on a second. Casey has a really nice example of a tapered candle, thicker at the bottom than at the top. And always use cotton string so it burns real well. And hopefully by the time we're done here, we'll have a candle about the size of their thumb. It'll be a nice tapered candle. I'm going to put this wax back on the fire in my double boiler. If you guys ever do candle making at home, you want to make sure you boil it in a double boiler, which means there's water, a can with water in it, and then inside that can is another can with the wax. Never boil it straight over the fire because you have an explosion. Oh yeah, matter of fact, one time when I was working in Ohio, we put on our candles to boil, and there was a lot of water in there, I thought, and I left to use the restroom, and it got in a real rapid boil quickly, and it boiled off real fast, and there was a huge explosion. There was a little fireball into like the sky about 20 feet. All the other naturals came running thinking I got blown up. I was sitting peacefully at home and was not aware of it, so you got to do a double boiler. Let's cut some of these ends off here. Now this is going to look painful, but there's no wick down here, so it's going to be okay. Don't watch, don't watch. There you go. It won't hurt, Marissa. Just there, see? Since they're not dipping directly into water to cool off quickly, they'll get these, the end of it that kind of drips down here, and there's no wick in there. Okay, you're looking. Yours is doing okay, yeah. Yours is doing okay. I'll come over and, oh, yours is fine. You might want to, when you kind of push that little tip up when you go there. Some of your candle you can feel to the touch. They're quite warm, and if you want to, soak it in water a little bit and really kind of close your eyes, Addie Rose. It would hurt less. There you go. Looks beautiful. That's lovely. Good looking canvas. Well, some of the wax has a scent in it. I put cinnamon or something in there a long time ago, and it's still should be a cinnamony, or it's nice. Probably a combination of several things. Actually, yours probably doesn't need too much. Here's it go. Okay. After you work on a candle, it's hard to watch somebody cut it off. It's beautiful.
Trees, they smell pepperminty.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. I know there's different flavors in there. The paraffin wax takes any kind of oil,
Mine hasn't got cut off
scented oils really well. That looks not too bad though. Each time that drips, just kind of push that up. It's lovely. It's lovely. Close your eyes. You don't want me to see me cut off. Ah! Now normally if you're dipping candles from hot wax right into cold water, you don't get the big drips at the bottom like this. I'm sorry. But since they're walking, you can do that every time you go if you'd like to.
Do we have to?
No, you don't have to. It's your candle.
It's a long one.
See, because all of this from here on down is just extra wax. There's no wick in it. So I just cut that off. Actually, I'll put that in and we'll melt it again.
See, I think it's
What's the? What are we doing?
I think it's nice to let the kids, create.
Well, it's
There you
not
go.
like it's really like school. I mean, they weren't like being bad or anything.
Do you know what? It's getting so hot that whenever I dip it in, no water crystals form. It's just dry.
Okay.
It's growing from there.
You can do is next time you dip it, if it starts to drip down, Just kind of push it up with your thumb.
Can I have that?
I'm gonna actually put that in the wax and remelt it again. Very nice. These are lighter blue, aren't they?
You were in my class.
Looks
They
good.
smell like cinnamon.
Nice smell. Now, Addie Rose on this one here. Just go ahead. Snip that off. Now, it's going to take a while for these to set up. They're doing pretty good. Started out slow, but it's a hot day and I know you'd like to keep it, little girl, but I'm going to put it back in the wax. You promise?
I promise.
Okay.
I just like to
You
play
can just
with
play
it.
with the wax.
It's almost as big as my thumb. It's only about like 2 more dips. Weird. That's a little bit more than this.
Now, in the days of the pioneer, they would collect the fat all year round. When they butchered, they saved fat. When they cooked a meat meal, they'd save the drippings, and they'd use those for candles. And if you were in charge of candles, you had to make sure you stored them in a nice metal box, because being made out of tallow, they were quite edible by rodents. So if you were in charge of taking care of the candles, you had to put them someplace nice and safe so the mice wouldn't eat them. Okay, I trust you. You're doing a good job.
I was on the other side.
We should have everyone should have a really good candle right about now. I have to commend everybody here. It looks like you've been dipping without holding it in, because everyone has a nice candle. We don't have any skinny bottom candles. I don't see any here. You're dipping, pulling it out. You can tell Diane's been doing some talking though, because hers is smaller than everyone else's. I think she's been taking a break between times.
I have.
Yep. Only about 2 more and then done. Oh yeah,
Okay, we're going to dip for just about 9 more minutes, and then we are going to begin on our next activity. Oh, that 9 more minutes is a long time. You can get about 25, 30 more dips in 9 minutes.
30 more? Okay.
If you don't think it's fat enough, soak it in cold water back there for a while and get it nice and cold.
I could do this. So that's not
I've got a bunch of wax on my finger.
So that's a good looking candle again. That's the strangest looking thing I've ever seen. Here, then you can get that deeper in the... Okay.
I'm not planning on putting this in a candlestick for Christmas. So
You aren't or you are?
I are, so
Okay.
I need to make it flat at the bottom.
Okay, you'll have to, would you run over and get my skizzers?
Okay.
Okay. We're going to have them hang these so they hang straight down, because they're still quite warm. If you hang them sideways, they'll start doing this, and they'll dry that way. So you need to hang them straight. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Don't be frightened, girl. So we'll have them hanging straight down to let them cool. Then we'll take this one. Let me cut the end off first for you. We don't want to take too much off, and then we'll hang it like that.
I think I'm done.
Okay, you go ahead and you can hang that up. Looks good. Oh my gosh, that's huge. That's great. You can go ahead and hang that to cool somewhere. Find a nice place. And Rachel, you can hang yours to cool. Wow, that's a good looking one. You can hang yours to cool, Whitney. If you want to, you can snip off a little bit if you'd like to at the bottom. Oh yeah, that's a good looking one. Beautiful taper candle.
I want to dip mine in the water.
That's a good idea. Yes, that's a good one. You can hang that. Yes, please hang it. Yes, you guys, these are awesome looking candles.
You can see the rings around it.
I would say everyone can hang theirs up. Let me see if there's anyone here I want to do. Oh, you guys, these look awesome. You can dip yours a few more times. You have got to stop talking in line. You can dip yours a few more times. Yours looks excellent. Why don't you dip yours just a few more times? Oh, that's a beautiful candle there, T. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Can we play on the equipment while we're waiting?
Actually, no, because we're going to go almost right into our next thing.
Okay.
So if you guys want to cool your candle down a little bit if you'd like to, otherwise go ahead and get it hung up there, and we'll get started on our preparation for Cherokee leaf prints. It's beautiful.
Can I make
Hang it straight.
If you want to. We're going to do another project pretty soon.
Yep, we're starting a project in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
You can dip yours, Yale, and hang it up.
mine?
You can dip it and go hang it up.
Trees.
Oh, that's very nice of you. You're recycling.
Okay. Okay, the wax is done. So hang it up.
Can I dip it in the water?
You can dip it in the water.
Okay. All right. I think I caught
Yep.
I'll dip it in the water.
Hold on a second. My hands are full.
Through Rachel's eyes, I've saved about
Good birds.
yeah. I was afraid the birds would
Let's never know. Okay. Everyone go ahead and take a seat here for just a moment. And I'll tell you what we're going to be doing next.
They're fine. Can we close together? Can you see it? So.
Okay, now, bless you. Bless you. When I give you instructions, Kelsey, you might want to, as you're collecting the stuff you need, you might want to go via your car and get the t-shirts and then just meet us in the Nature Center. Okie dokie. Ladies and gentlemen, our next activity day is something called Cherokee leaf prints. And without giving too much away, as we make our way back to the Nature Center, because we'll do it inside at the Nature Center, that's where most of my stuff is kept, you need to find for yourself and bring with you, first thing, a rock, a stone. Not a big one, you might hurt something. Something small, fits in your hand, kind of smooth. Something you can use sort of for pounding. So you need a stone, not a turtle, a stone. Turtles do not like to be pounded, okay? Okay? A stone. You will also need 3 or 4 varieties of leaves. Don't go beyond that, simply because Cherokee leaf prints is a lot of fun, but it requires a lot of patience, and 1 or 2 or 3 leaves are good, but if you start getting more than that, you'll find you'll go crazy with this activity. Now, the leaves, when you're collecting them, first of all, do not collect poison ivy. Okay? Do not collect. So try to get your leaves off a tree. And not off a vine growing up a tree, because that may be poison ivy. Now, one really good vine to use actually is Virginia creeper, which has leaves of 5 on the vine. If you're not sure what you're picking, say, Trees, is this poison ivy? And I'll say yes or no. Now, it's best if the leaves that you use for this activity, and you can also use like petals of flowers and such, but don't pick the whole flower, just petals. It's best if the leaves you're using are thinner. Like if you turn around, there's an oak tree over there. And oak trees are very kind of thick and waxy feeling, and they just don't work well for Cherokee leaf prints unless it's small, like it's a young one, in its spring. So I wouldn't probably pick any oak. Maple, leaves that have cool designs in it. So try to find a couple different kinds of leaves you could use. And then when we get back to the Nature Center, I will show you what we're going to do with those leaves, those prints. I think what we're going to do, I think they're safe enough here. We don't have too many campers here. We're just going to leave our candles hanging here, and we'll make sure we come down to get them before you leave today. Okay? If you're thinking to yourself, if you're worried about remembering them, then you can take them right here. You can take them back. Oh, don't even worry about it. Diane will get them. You're free, you're free. So, 2 things you have to collect. What's the first thing you're going to get today? A rock. Not a big rock. A beautiful little rock that will hold in your hand. But not a little weenie rock either. The little weenie rocks won't do it. A nice size rock. Okay? Don't get a turtle. Jasper, no turtles. And the second thing you need are leaves. Ones with kind of groovy designs along the edge, ones that are kind of thinner, that you think will be easier, that bend a little bit easier. So without giving you more information than that, those are the 2 things you have to find, and we'll look for those things as we're walking back toward the Nature Center. Okay? Good. Let's begin our search for rocks and leaves. Ooh. You could do a dandelion leaf.
So should I go to my car?
Yeah, don't forget your leaves though. Dandelion leaves are kind of a groovy design, and they work really well for this activity.
Scared of you that he wanted to pound a turtle.
Oh, just afraid now. No, he's joking. Wouldn't worry doing too much. Now, if you can find like dandelion leaves that have a little bit of a red. That worked pretty well.
Once it's on rock, and there's like an impression shaped like a chair.
That's cool. That's going to work real well, I think, for you. Come on in. Come on down. Our next contestant on. Let's pound a rock. Oh, no, let's pound a leaf. Or let's do something. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think we got... I don't think... how many did you have?
We should have 19.
19. You can probably, yeah, you can. Do it real quickly. Why don't you just put it in the sink for now, and then once I explain it, you can go finish it off. Yeah.
I'll go outside.
Just missing 2?
2, yeah.
Okay. That's a nice size. It's easy to hold too.
This is a great rock, Jackson.
Okay.
Very good.
Okie dokie. Great. Okay. Let me just put them up on the table. Thank you. What you're going to do with what you've collected, you're going to do something called Cherokee leaf prints, or somehow Cherokee leaf poundings. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the pigment or the coloring that's in that leaf, and you're going to transfer it to cloth. And you do that by pounding the heck out of it using a rock. It's really easy. The way we're going to do it today, we won't go into a lot of information on how to set the color. If you want to, when you get home, you can always put some salt and some water and soak your shirt in salt water, and that kind of helps set it a little bit. You actually don't have to soak the whole shirt, just put kind of dab salt water over the coloring. But what I'm going to give you is a board. Everyone go, ooh, ooh, a board, yes. And you're going to use a piece of cloth. Now your shirts are here from the Art Association, and it'll be cool to put some design on your shirt, but I want you to practice first before you put it on your shirt. So I have some cloth here that you can cut a little piece off of here, and you can practice first. And then if you think you've got the hang of it, then you can go and you can do the leaf pounding on your shirt. But make sure you practice first. You're going to take the cloth, put the cloth on the board, and then get the leaf that you want and put that on your cloth. Now some people will actually put it underneath and cover it that way. I like to see it, so I take it, put it like this, and then so I don't pound so crazy that I'll hurt my cloth, I take a piece of plastic and put it over it. And then I start pounding, and it's going to sound like 20 woodpeckers in here trying to hack out an insect. It's going to sound like this. You have 20 minutes of people going. And you're going to take your rock and you're going to pound the color that's in the leaf out onto the cloth. If you have a little bit red on your leaves like here, you'll get some red in your cloth. You have green, you'll get green. Now, here's some words of wisdom. When you first start pounding is when you got your most energy. Use most of your energy to start and do it around the edges so that you get a nice outline of the leaf on your paper. Then if you get tired and you can't go any further because your hand hurts because you've been pounding for 20 minutes, at least you'll have the outline of the leaf on there. And you can watch as you pound, you'll be able to watch and see where the pigment's missing from the leaf, where it's been crushed. It's very important when you do this that you hold this down steady when you hit it. Now there's going to be some of you who think, well, I'll just hit it harder. It'll be faster. And you're ramming on it. Then you bloody your thumb and then your hand. Don't do that. You pound too hard, you're going to actually move the leaf around, and you kind of smear your picture. So you have to hold it in one place and do your pounding. As you're pounding, every now and then you can lift it up and you can see where you're missing your color. This was this poor guy before I beat him into submission here. Okay, there's my leaf. Okay, that was a part of Virginia creeper. But if you take a look at this, you can kind of see the little edges, the roughed edges. So that was just a start. I never got finished with it. I just pounded it part way. So practice first. And sometimes I've had kids who work on it and they don't start around the edge first. They just go in the middle and they're pounding and then they're tired and what they got is like 5 or 6 blotches. It don't look like old leaf. And they're like, that doesn't look very good. Well, you have to start around the edges first. Do around the edges first. Now, I brought some extra colors with me. I went out and got some sumac, and these are some colorful ones. And some of these, well, few of these are dry, but the ones that are a little bit moister will do good poundings. So, we have a board first, then your cloth, then your leaf, then the plastic, and then you pound. Use this to practice with, and what I'll have Stacy come up and just cut some little practice pieces, and I'll have Kelsey come up and hand out the blocks of wood, and was it Marissa? Who was it who was going to borrow my rock? Is that you? Oh, sorry. You can use my rock. And I'm going to go get some more board. I had some cut, so they can get their shirts, but I let them practice on the practice piece first.
Somebody in front over there and me a leaf. Somebody.
Who's asking you?
Somebody over there. Somebody. I'm asking. Somebody hand me one. Somebody please. Thank you. That's okay. Can somebody? Oh,